Yeah. I'm ready.
All right, welcome back all. So glad to see everyone and appreciate you returning to do what you do best, transporting our SSD students safely. If you drive a South Tech route, please remember that you are not to drop off students past the end of the Tech building. If you are past the building, you'll need to wait and pull forward and then stop and drop them. Bus evacuations will be in October, the third week. We'll post the info on the safety board. Safety and PD meetings will look a little different this year. We will have meetings online and some in person. Online meetings will be done on the Safe School format, and this is easy to access for everybody. October, January, February, March, and April will be mandatory online meetings. Jerry will have 40 minutes of PD programming, and the managers and safety will have 20 minutes. We will post a time frame in which you'll have to complete the meetings. Since it is on Safe Schools and you can access it at any time, just remember that you cannot be clocked at the time you do the meetings. This would be considered double dipping. November will be an in-person with limited seating meeting. The presenter will be SSD Equity Director Dr. Macklin. Signing up for this meeting is required. December and May will be in person with limited seating. Sign up for this meeting is also required. These will be optional meetings, so plan on having fun with Jerry, probably something like trivia. So if you want to attend, make sure you sign up. Now for some housekeeping notes. So everyone knows that Zonar was installed to accommodate this year, there to accommodate the parent apps that the district intends to roll out this year. There are some things everyone needs to know about this system. Number one, we can track exactly where the bus is at any given time. Number two, we will receive notifications when the bus is speeding. We will not use this system for disciplinary purposes unless that violation is egregious enough to warrant, such as excessive speeding. Tablets, they made some updates to the tablets to address the beginning and ending mileage problems we were incurring, as well as the timing out issues. So hopefully these issues have been resolved. Everyone should be using their tablets for student tracking. This is a requirement of the state, as they will only accept electronic tabulation of ridership for high needs funding. Pre-trip, make sure you're doing your pre-trip on the tablets. Toggle for defects. Submit your pre-trip with or without defects. If you are having tablet issues, please notify safety or dispatch so issues can be addressed. Communications and call-ins of no-shows. First off, remember to key your mic and wait 3 seconds before you speak. Our mics are a delayed mic. Speak clearly with microphone approximately 12 inches from your mouth. When calling no-shows into dispatch, dispatch needs time of pickup, location of pickup if it's tech, such as an intersection of Mallard and Wallaby. If it's not tech, we need the full name of the student, along with the pickup time. PPE refills, safety equipment, and write-ups. Effective immediately, PPE refills will not be completed during AM dispatch time. There's just too much going on during AM dispatch to be trying to refill PPE supplies. Please submit your refills at the end of each day or midday if needed. Write-ups must be done before requesting a change of securement status, such as placing a student in a vest, a more restrictive vest, things of that nature. You cannot come to dispatch or come to management and tell us you need a student in a vest or you need a student in a more secure vest if you haven't been doing your documentation prior to that. Vaccinations and verifications. In order to be eligible for the district COVID leave policies, you must have a copy of your vaccine card submitted to the district via the link they sent out in their email. This link cannot be accessed through your smartphone or your cell phone. What you need to do is take a picture of your vaccination card, send it to your district email, then you can attach it to your form using one of the district provided computers or one of the Chromebooks that we have that you can sign out to assist in this process. Masks. Yes, masks are required when transporting students or kids or when you're in the building. You can unmask to eat, but if you are up and moving around, you should have your mask on. Go stops. We've already discussed the go stops, but just remember that go stops need to be submitted and should have been turned in by Friday, September 17th. Second bid and route corrections. Drivers are required to have their routes updated and corrected at all times. As we prepare for secondary bid, these corrections are critical. If someone bids your route at secondary bid and they end up losing time because of your failure to update with corrections in time, disciplinary actions will occur. Mileage cards. Be sure to document non-riders on the reverse side of your mileage cards. This is something that should have been done and always have been done, but hasn't been getting completed. Also make sure you're completing all items on the front of your card. If your card is returned for corrections, this needs to be completed as soon as possible. Middays. It is your responsibility as driver and monitor to check the midday sheets for awarded middays and to be knowledgeable of the times that your awarded midday clocks. It is not dispatch's responsibility to notify you of what middays you got or when they clock or when they clock out. Short-term and long-term absences. No more than 80% of the standby capacity will be approved without speaking with management for short-term PTO absences. Fridays. Fridays are being abused. Not all medical or dental appointments have to be scheduled on Fridays. They're open Monday through Friday, so not all your appointments should be coming in on Fridays. For that 80% standby capacity for drivers, that's 4 drivers as of right now, because we carry 5 standbys. For monitors, that's 3 monitors, because we carry 4 standbys. Absences without approval are subject to disciplinary actions. Long-term absences, if you know you're going to be out for some sort of procedure or out for an extended period of time, please let us know as soon as possible so that we can manage and schedule for your absence. Instead of letting us know the day before you leave, oh, by the way, I'm going to be out for the next week because I'm having a procedure tomorrow. Please give us time to plan ahead. So that's all I've got for housekeeping. Welcome back. Thank you all for doing the great job you're doing and continue to move forward.
Everybody gets a heart. Everybody gets a soul. Everybody gets a mind to let them know that we can be smart, that we can be kind, that we can be living by giving and loving all the time. So on the days when it's feeling tough and it seems like you don't have enough, well, let's be thankful for our friends and family and grateful for the air that we breathe and appreciate everything that we have today. Let's be generous to anyone who has less than us. It's good to be compassionate, 'cause ever since the day you were born, yeah, we've got a lot to be thankful for. Yeah, we've got a lot to be thankful for. Everybody gets the land.
Okay, guys, we're very thankful for you, and we appreciate all that you do for our students and keeping them safe. We're going to go right into our September safety meeting. And the first thing we're going to talk about is masks. They need to be covering the nose and the mouth at all times while you're on property. The only time when you take down to eat. But if you're up moving around, mask has to be done. I'm going to take this off so you guys can hear me. When you're on the bus, you're required to be wearing your face mask and gloves when you're securing your child. This is direct contact with a student, whether it's a wheelchair student or just a student. Direct contact is when you have to have the face mask and gloves. This is to protect the student and you. Disinfecting. Staff will be required to disinfect the bus each time they unload students at school or home. Once the last student is unloaded, we're going to find a safe place to secure the bus and spray the high contact areas. That's the handrails, the seat belt, the seat the student was in. After your last PM tier and you're returning to the base, to garage, you're not required to disinfect because maintenance does that in the evenings. As Kevin said, drivers will still be responsible for the assigned PPE backpacks that will have the appropriate items in place to keep your bus as germ-free as possible. The process for restocking the backpack is the same as last year with the little cards. You're going to fill it out, turn it in dispatch, and they're going to fill it up. Next up is Miss Bonnie Blue.
Hello, welcome back for this year, and yes, we are very thankful for you. You guys are our second family, so we are very thankful for you. Monitors, you are required to walk to and from your assigned bus. This will avoid any kind of congestion out on the bus slots, so make sure you're walking out to your bus. Monitors are required to stay on the bus and assist with backing into the parking spot, and also required to conduct their part of the post-trip inspection. Radio etiquette. Be clear with your communication whenever you are out there on the buses. Be respectful on the radio and be professional. The district can hear everything that's going on. We've had a couple of times on the buses to where maybe dispatch is hollering for you over the radio and they're saying Route 307 to base, or Route 307, or doggone it, base to Route 307. 307 to base! Because they're actually grabbing for that mic and hollering instead of grabbing it off the holster and holding it 6 to 12 inches from their mouth. So make sure, because the problem is we're not understanding you over the radio. So please make sure you guys are taking it off the holster, talking into it, regular tone of voice, so we can understand you and we can have communication. One of the last things that is, if anybody has an emergency out there, please call it in as such. So if you have an emergency and holler it in over the radio, Route 25 to base, I have an emergency. Make sure you say it directly like that, because all communication should stop over the radio and over the airways. If you have a student that's not writing that day, don't call it in. Don't call anything in over the radio, because all we want to hear from is that person that has an emergency over the radio at that point in time. As far as backing, drivers, please make sure that you're talking to your monitors as far as backing on the bus, that you need their assistance. Give them the opportunity and ask them, please, would you help me back? Give them the opportunity to walk all the way to the very back door. There is a back handle back there that the monitors can hold on to next to the emergency exit handle that moves up and down. Look up, down, left, and right. And after you have completed your backing, drivers, allow them the time to get back up to their seat, because it's almost like walking like a cattywampus on the bus whenever the bus is in movement. And sometimes some of our drivers can back up pretty fast. Make sure on how quickly you're doing it and how quickly you're stopping, because you could throw them off of their feet, and we don't want anybody getting hurt onto the bus or on the bus. And now you have Mike.
All right, hi everybody. Let me just reiterate what Kevin, Paula, Bonnie, the song, all said. We are thankful for you. We do appreciate everything you do. I skipped a few things. Let me go back up here. When driving a van, make sure that you turn your headlights to the on position. We don't want you to do it in the auto. If it's just in auto, then your clearance lights and your tail lights are not working. So make sure you always turn that into the on, headlights to the on position. When loading or unloading students in a Type A van, as in any bus, you always want to make sure to set your parking brake. So when in a van, you're going to put it up into park, keep your foot on the service brake, and set your park brake. You have these are 3 forms of protection. If one fails, you have two other ones working for you. Upon returning to the garage after your routes, please be sure to turn off all equipment. Lights, hazards, AC, heater, tablet, fan, etc. The fuelers and mechanics are coming to us almost on a daily basis and saying someone forgot to turn their hazards off, or their headlights were still on, or when they started the bus they go put fuel in it, the stereo was blaring. Make sure to turn everything off. And then also when you're walking away from the bus, take a second, turn around and glance real quickly and just make sure that the headlights and hazards are off. Now, per Missouri Commercial Driver's License Manual, you need to activate your turn signals whenever turning right or left or changing lanes. 3 good rules for using turn signals. You want to signal early. You want to give the person behind you enough time to understand that your intentions are to make a turn, whether it be right or left. You want to signal continuously. You want to leave that signal going until you complete your turn, and then we want you to have both hands on the wheel as you're turning, and then make sure and remember to cancel the signal after you've finished a turn. So don't leave that flashing as you're driving down the road. It can be confusing to the vehicles behind you.
Okay guys, you got me back. So, DVIR books pre and post trip. Please do not complete your DVIR book all for one day. Sitting in there in the morning and you're filling it out for AM, midday, and PM. That's not how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be AM, midday, PM. That's when you do your DVIR book. Make sure make sure you're waiting until you return to the lot to fill out your post-trip items. Don't forget those last 3 things. The child check, the fuel, and there's one more. If you find a defect, are you guys just pulling it up and asking the mechanics, hey, can you fix this light? Or are you document it? You gotta document it, guys. Also, who's doing the tablets? Who's doing the checklist in the tablet? Gotta do your checklist in your tablet. If you have an issue, you toggle it, and that means that you have an issue. If you don't have an issue, you scroll to the bottom and you add checklist. Okay, guys? Next up, mileage cards. Like Kevin said, we need to be making sure that the mileage cards, CPI, field trip cards, everything is turned in daily. Make sure your mileage is correctly totaled and accurately recorded for the week. Make sure all paperwork is turned in on time. Make sure you are documenting on the back the students that don't ride or are on a long-term no ride. Also, record the attendance in the tablet. What color does the student turn if they're writing in the tablet? People have said yellow, people have said green, but it has to turn a color to make sure you're recording the attendance. Next up, Mr. Mike.
All right, continuing a little bit with tablets. Only operate the tablets when it's safe to do so, when the bus is stopped and it is secured. The students should either be on the bus or out of the danger zone before you worry about it. We want you to keep 100% of your focus on that student when they're outside that bus. Once they're on and safe or safely away from the bus, then you can record the attendance and hit the continue button so that you can start on your way. If you end up with any extra equipment, safety equipment on your bus, please collect it and turn it in. Equipment must be installed properly or the driver and/or monitor could be liable for any injuries. If you need a refresher on how to install or use the equipment properly, then by all means come in and reach out to the safety department. We'll be happy to help you. If the equipment isn't being installed or used properly, then it's not safe according to the manufacturer. Make sure you're using the equipment that the route sheet states the student needs. Just because little Billy gets on the bus and says, I don't need a safety vest anymore, I can sit in a seat belt. That's not his decision, that's not our decision. If it's on the route sheet, we put him in a safety vest. If mom or dad's standing on the ground saying, hey, Billy don't have to wear a safety vest, I'm okay with just a seat belt, advise mom or dad to contact the school so that the school can get the process started to amend the IEP. We have to go by what's on our paperwork, and that's just there to protect us. Regardless of which team member is securing the wheelchair, the other team member needs to follow behind them once they get back on the bus and just double check to make sure that the securements are tight. Early childhood students. We want to make sure that early childhood students are either in integrated seats or star seats. They have to be in either one. And then here is another important thing. Seats behind a restrained passenger must be empty or also restrained. Basically what that means is if I have a student who's in a safety vest sitting in the seat in front of me and I'm the monitor on the bus, then I must be in very minimal a seatbelt. You don't have to be safety vest. It's any kind of restraint. So safety vest, and the person behind him must be in a seatbelt or some kind of restraint. All right, we're going to do a little demonstration on what we just covered here as far as the seat behind a restrained passenger. The occupant must be restrained also. We've got little Teddy here who's in a star seat, and he's in there nice and good, nice and tight. Installed properly, being used properly. We have Paula, who's going to be the monitor, who's riding in the seat behind little Teddy. She's not buckled in any way. No seat belt, nothing. If there's an accident and the Paula, since she's not fastened in, is going to come forward, smashing into the back of the seat. Now these seats are designed to where they're going to collapse. It's going to come fold down over on top of little Teddy here, and it's going to crush him. Either break a pelvis, maybe even kill him. So it's important that anybody sitting behind that seat with a restrained occupant, they must be restrained as well.
Hello, I'm back again. Wanted to touch base on student loading and unloading. So drivers, when loading or unloading students, you must set your parking brake, keep your foot on the brake, and make sure that you put it in neutral, except when loading or unloading a wheelchair. For drivers in vans, make sure that you guys are putting your transmission into the park position. Greet your students each morning with a smile. That's always nice. I know it's kind of hard to see with your mask on. Whenever possible, to limit unnecessary contact, please try and load your students from back to front. I know that's not always feasible with the students that we have that's riding with us, but if you can, that's going to limit unnecessary contact. Seating charts must be kept current. If you gain or lose or move a student, a new seating chart will need to be filled out promptly. Seating charts are going to be used by the district for contact tracing purposes. We must also keep our 8-ways on during the whole loading and unloading process. That's even whenever you are taking care of a wheelchair for loading and unloading. Now we're going to be watching some videos on some troubleshooting issues that some folks have been having problems with out on the buses with their wheelchairs. This is a homemade video, so you can laugh if you want, but it might give you a few helpful hints if you run into some troubleshooting videos. Then after that, you guys are going to talk to Paula or hear Paula again. Going to go over a few simple troubleshooting reminders if you're having problems with your lift on your bus. This is in one of the international buses. For one, you want to make sure that the parking brake is set, and also if it has the PB at the top, that the shifter is actually here and the PB mode up here at the top. you'll actually see on the dash that you'll actually have the parking brake is showing that it is set. And also over on the left hand side, you want to make sure that you also turn on your lift switch. So you want to make sure that you do turn your lift switch on over here to make sure that you can get your lift. Now we're in one of the Bluebird style buses, just a little bit different. I think everybody knows that. Whenever you drive one of these and you want to have and put the lift switch on and use the lift, you want to make sure that it is in neutral. You want to make sure that your emergency brake is set, which also you will see the light illuminate on the dash. And of course over here you want to turn your lift switch on up here to the left hand side. And everything should be on. So let's go try it out. Always make sure whenever you open up your door that you do secure it from the outside so it does not close on anyone. Whenever you have your lift switch on, you should actually see your lights working on at the top. If you would ever have any kind of an issue and maybe the power isn't on or you didn't turn your lift switch on, you can always check over here. There is also a power source out here in the back, and this lift button should be on. It says lift power on and off. This should always be in the on mode. So you might want to check that out too, just to make sure it's in the on mode. Most definitely don't want to forget about our van buses. Want to make sure that our parking brake is set, and of course it is in the park mode with our gear shifter. And looking up here, we're going to make sure that we turn our wheelchair lift button on and have it in the on mode. So make sure all that is set before you go out and try working your lift on your van buses. Every once in a while you'll run into that issue, because right now I should be able to unfold it. My lift switch is on, I'm pressing the unfold. Sometimes it doesn't want to, because sometimes these will give a little bit over a weekend time. So sometimes you need to refold it back in. If you notice I just did, when I do that, I should be able to go to the unfold, which that is one of the troubleshooting issues that you may need to run into, or you may run into, and you can fix yourself. So sometimes you may have to refold it back in order to get it to work. If that doesn't work, there is another thing that you can take care of if that doesn't work from the outside, and we're fixing to show you that one too. If for some reason all else fails, you may have to come in and use the manual part of the operation of the lift, and it's pretty fairly simple. You may need to come in and grab the handle pump that is attached right back here, pull that out. You will insert it and apply a couple of strokes, and whenever you do apply the couple of strokes, it will bring your lift inwards. And whenever you do bring your lift inwards, you should be able to go back outside and you should be able to unfold your lift. That is one of the other troubleshooting issues that we've ran into also before. Alright, I'm back out here again. Now let's see if we can go ahead and get her to work. Woohoo, it worked. Went in there, pumped it a few times, and now I am able to get it to work. Can unfold it, put it all the way down, and we can get it to work. That's what we want her to do every day. If anybody ever has any more problems or some troubleshooting issues, please come to the safety department. We'll be more than happy to help you out. Everybody have a great day. Thanks for watching.
Okay guys, I just want to add one other little thing that Bonnie kind of didn't touch on, but I just want to nail one other thing. Tech students, seating charts must be done. They have to sit where the seating chart says. If not, contact the school, they'll get a hold of the student and they'll make them comply. Has to be done. Okay, My Parts Railroad Tracks. SSD's policy is to open the driver's window. You guys have to be opening this driver's window. You gotta be able to hear for the train coming, if there's one. Regardless of weather, you're opening up that window. Please use the noise cancellation switch. That way you can cancel all the radio, air conditioner, whole 9 yards, and you can hear. Request silence at the railroad tracks. Monitors, this is where you come into contact or come into play. You can sit there and make the kids, think of it as a little game. Hey, let's look and listen for a train. Let's be quiet. Let's look and listen. Nope, don't see anything. If you're interrupted at all during this process, start it all over again, because this is the most important thing to do when you're crossing tracks. Now for Michael.
All right, route sheets. When changes are made to your route, please make sure to inform dispatch of those changes. Routes must be accurate. All corrections need to be recorded on the route sheet, handwritten neatly, in case dispatch hasn't had a chance to get to it and update it in its computer. Bus stops are set by the school district. We must be using the assigned bus stops in the AM and PM. There are certain criteria that have to be met for it to be deemed a safe bus stop. That's why we want to make sure that we're allowing or following our route sheets as to what the bus stops are. If we take it upon ourselves to say, we're going to just move this up here about a half a block because it's closer to his house, and if something happens to that student after you let them off the bus and they're walking to their house, then that's going to be on the school district or yourself for not following the assigned bus stops. Monitors, we also ask that you know the routes in case standby's on there and they're having problems getting from one stop to the next, you're able to help them.
All right, back to me. So we're gonna go over a little bit on our attire. So please come to work prepared to work. Wear appropriate shoes, clothes, and jewelry. The big thing on the shoes, make sure that you have closed toes, clothes on the toe, and make sure that you have at least a strap on the back. Thought I smelled something. Thanks. Anyways, clothes around the toe, or clothes on the toes, and at least a back strap on the back heel, if you're gonna wear some kind of a sandal style. As far as your jewelry, please watch your jewelry. Ladies, I'll pick on you, because a lot of the ladies are wearing the great big hoop earrings or something that's hanging real long. Don't come crying to us whenever you get your ears ripped off, because it is a good possibility. You know the students that you work with. There's a time and a place for us to wear those nice fashionable items that you ladies like to wear. I do it myself, but I don't do it at work. Also think about some of your jewelry you wear that might be really expensive. I wear a lot of costume jewelry. If they break it or anything, I'm not going to cry over spilt milk. So I'm just reminding you of that. The biggest thing is our attire. Our shirts. If you ladies are standing there, you look in the mirror, and you see any cleavage here, don't wear it. You bend over, you see any cleavage, don't wear it. If your straps are only an inch up here, don't wear it. It needs to be wider up in here. It needs to be covering everything. None of our brassieres are showing or anything else. Make sure that you're paying attention to that. Shirt or shorts, skirts, dresses need to be long enough in length. Think of that. Us ladies, we're bending over, taking care of our students. Whenever you go and you sit down in your seats, things hike up on us. A lot of our ladies, one of the meetings that we had in person, some of the ladies had kind of some shorts on, and when they sat down, it came up to here on them. And it was almost to the buttocks area. And they were doing one of these numbers and trying to get it to go back down. Keep in mind that. What are some of the things that we do when we work with our students? We get down on our hands and knees sometimes, and we're doing one of these numbers and messing with the equipment down here. We're bent over our students like this, so we have to worry about our tops up here and our rumps back in here to where we're not having to show anything. We shouldn't have to worry about that. I realize some people may wear some kind of a shorts underneath their dresses, and that's a great thing to do, but still, we have large hormones that are raising right now with boys and girls. So I want you to think about that. And gentlemen, I won't keep you out, because let me tell you, if you come in and you wear spandex, I'm going to come and have a talk with you too. So keep in mind, we never want to have to go to uniforms. Let's dress appropriate and professional. Thank you.
Hi guys. Don't worry. We're almost there. Documentation. Per district policy, all documentation needs to be legible, filled out completely, signed, dated, and turned in a timely manner. Accident packets, injury reports, and student incident forms. Transportation's not the only one that sees these. How would you like it if you were sitting there trying to read out an incident report and you couldn't read it? That's what we sit there and make guesses on. Well, what's this say? Well, what'd they do? That's not right. We need them legible, turned in on time, and signed and dated.
All right, as Kevin made mention of a little earlier when he did his part, evacuation plans, or evacuations, we're going to be doing the evacuation drills in the 3rd week of October, which just right around the corner. We'll have information posted as to more steps or what we expect to be at that point. Evacuation plans, we want to make sure that you have a plan to get all your students off the bus and updated as students or routes change. If monitor and driver are both gone, and there's a new team on there just for that day, we don't know the students. We don't know what their capabilities are, so it's important to have it written down in the folder so that it's easy access if there's an accident. Keep it legible, as Paula was stating, so that it can be easily ascertained as to who's going to be working with what students and how we're going to get them off safely.
We're gonna be watching a quick film on
Safety evacuations. Watch how fast this bus fills up with smoke. Yes, it's only a smoke bomb, but this will really show you how fast you need to be getting that bus emptied. Real fast. It only takes about 40 seconds. And we know buses go up in 2 to 3 minutes, but it fills with smoke in 40 seconds.
And also on this one, this bus is, every window is shut, which ours usually are. And also it is daylight time. Very hard to see. Make sure you guys are taking the time out. Close your eyes. Count your seats to any window exits. Count the seats, how long it takes you to get to the very back of your bus to that emergency exit. Take that time out. Also right after that, it's going to go into watching the use of a fire extinguisher on your buses is ABC dry chemical fire extinguishers that will put out anything and everything. So make sure that you guys are paying attention to it. If you have fire extinguishers at home, great use, great timing to watch it. If you don't have one at home, suggest you get one. Thank you everybody for watching, and then this will conduct it after you guys watch the movies. Thank you. Thank you.
Have a great year, guys. Miss ya.
With this, you don't have to be, but yeah, definitely typically. So make sure you keep the aisle clear for everyone. Can you guys all still see me?
Yeah, we can hear.
Hello? But I can't see them.
I can barely see her, and she's 3 seats away. Oh, and now it's at my seat already. And that was less than 40 seconds.
All right, you wanna?
Yeah, I'll need it.
Hi, my name is Kelly Webb. I'm with the Asheville Fire Department, and today we're here to talk about the use of portable fire extinguishers. We're going to discuss how to use them and when to use them, and then hopefully if you're ever put in that situation that you might encounter a fire, you might feel a little more comfortable using the portable fire extinguisher. Now, depending on what kind of fire you encounter will actually determine which type of extinguisher you use. But to make things more simple, we're just going to talk about the fact that there is a portable fire extinguisher called a multi-purpose extinguisher. That multi-purpose extinguisher will cover pretty much any type of fire that you would encounter. Now, what I teach you today is not just for business purposes, but it's also for your personal life. So, you know, the things that we talk about not only would help you in your day-to-day activities at work, but if you're out shopping, if you're at a child care center or something like that, pretty much whatever fire extinguisher is hanging on the wall will put out any fire you would encounter in that situation. Please do understand that the portable fire extinguisher is for the beginning stage of a fire, meaning if you encounter the fire within the first few minutes of it, that you could probably put it out with that fire extinguisher. But if a fire has been burning for 5 or 10, 15 minutes, and you're wondering whether or not that fire extinguisher will put it out, it probably won't. So if you're ever in doubt, please just get out. Your safety is definitely our first concern, and we want you to leave the firefighting to the firefighters. I make the joke that you do not see firefighters running into a burning building with portable fire extinguishers because that's not what they are designed to do. So please understand that it is for the very beginning stage of a fire. For instance, if you encounter a trash fire, child playing with matches, or perhaps you've started a fire on the top of a stove, that's when you want to be able to grab your portable fire extinguisher and put the fire out. Otherwise, like I said, your safety is our first concern. Please get out, call 911, and leave the firefighting to the firefighters. Now, fire extinguishers pretty much all look the same. They're this beautiful red color. We have a handle, that's what you can carry it by, and it's actually the top portion of the handle, the trigger, that will emit the agent. They all have a safety pin in there, and that safety pin is tied on by a zip tie, and that's so that somebody doesn't accidentally lose that safety pin or a child tampers with the extinguisher, accidentally setting it off. They have some type of a nozzle or hose depending on the size of the extinguisher. They all should have a gauge, and this gauge is very important because the gauge is going to let you and me know whether or not this extinguisher is ready to use. If the gauge shows that the yellow arrow is in the green area, meaning it's charged and ready to go, then as far as you and I know that this is ready and it can be used. Otherwise, if you notice that the yellow arrow has dropped below the green, that means the extinguisher has lost charge for whatever reason and cannot be used. So please, if you ever notice an extinguisher that the yellow arrow has dropped out of the green, get it off the wall immediately, call maintenance, call whoever might be in charge of that extinguisher, and have them replace it immediately. If you leave it on the wall, the chance that somebody might need to grab it and use it is putting them in a high risk, so please. And if you ever notice that your personal extinguisher has lost a charge, you can look in the phone book under fire extinguisher companies. Several companies can assist you with recharging your extinguisher. A lot of the ones in businesses will have a tag on them. This means that annually a fire extinguisher company is coming out and checking this extinguisher out, making sure it's charged and ready to go. So annually somebody is physically touching this extinguisher and making sure it's in good working condition. But it would be helpful if you ever notice anything wrong with your extinguisher that you notify, somebody that can get that fixed immediately. We actually teach an acronym that helps you remember how to use the extinguisher. It's very simple, and the word is PASS. PASS stands for pull, aim, squeeze, and sweep. PASS. First thing that you want to do is pull this safety pin out. This extinguisher will never work until you pull this pin out. Be sure you're not depressing the top portion of this handle at the same time because you're just pushing and pulling against yourself. So pull this pin out and discard it. You do not need the pin. Then you're going to aim the nozzle. You always want to aim at the base of a fire. It's very important that you understand what the base of the fire is because even though flames may be coming up out of that fire, out of the base of the fire, you can knock those back. But until you get the agent on the actual base of the fire, it will not be extinguished. So please understand that if you have a trash can that's on fire, that something inside of it is on fire, flames may be coming, out of that trash can and you can knock it back. But until you get that agent inside that trash can, the fire is not actually going to go out. So be sure that you always aim at the base of the fire. So pull, aim, squeeze. You're going to squeeze this trigger. It will break a seal in the canister and the agent will be pushed out. Pull, aim, squeeze, and then we ask everybody to sweep so that you're sure that you cover the whole base of that fire. You want to be sure that you don't get tunnel vision, spray in one spot, which could easily spread the fire side to side. You want to keep a distance of about 8 to 10 feet when you encounter a fire and you're going to use your fire extinguisher. And that's because you never know how much pressure is inside the extinguisher, how you're going to react, or how the fire might react. So if you start a good distance of 8 to 10 feet away, start spraying, then you can work yourself up to that fire as you get a little more comfortable. You always want to leave your back to an exit, and this is very important. Fire grows very rapidly. It can actually grow 7 times itself in 1 minute. So if you think about the time that it takes you, once you've discovered a fire, to find your extinguisher, to call 911, several minutes could have gone by. You want to be sure that you don't get overwhelmed. You need to keep your back to an exit. If that fire gets out of control, then you can get out. I highly recommend that you familiarize yourself with where the extinguishers are located throughout your building, wherever you work. And also, if you do have one at your house, I highly recommend that you go home tonight, pull it to the front of your cabinet, make sure that it's ready to be used. It needs to be easily accessible and readily available at all times.